Surviving your workouts isn't the goal. The goal is to still be lifting 30 years from now. When I was young, I used to think that punishing my body in the gym was how I would get progress. I would stay in the gym for 2 hours. I would do multiple exercises, upwards of 30 sets per session. And then I judged my progress by my recovery, by how sore I was the next day, by how I felt, how destroyed I was. And this was wrong. When you're in your 20s, you can burn the candle at both ends. You can hardly get sleep. It doesn't matter. You go to the gym, you work out, and you're going to make progress just because your body is able to recover. But as you get older, this goes away. And I learned it the hard way. So when I started approaching my mid 30s, I started noticing that I my progress was slowing down. And the way you know that your progress is starting to slow down is number one, you stall out, your strength stalls out, so you're not making as much progress with the amount of weight you're lifting. But the biggest thing is your lack of motivation. If you're not motivated to work out, something's wrong. This means that you have taxed your central nervous system too much and you need to deload or take time off. That is the number one indication. Also, if you have a soreness that isn't going away, or you end up starting to develop tendonitis in usually bicep tendons, shoulders, areas like that, that's a sign that your body is telling you that you need to take a break. If you are inflamed, there is no way that you can make progress in the gym. Your body will spend all of its energy trying to heal itself instead of making sure that you can lift more weights in your next workout. It's just the way it is. So once I realized that recovery was an important part of progress, my whole ideas on change or training changed. I started making sure that I put a conscious effort into making sure that my recovery was on point. When you don't get enough sleep and you're not recovering enough, it adds up. Recovery debt is a real thing. It is silent and it's not going to show up until much later when it's too late. And when it's too late, that means you're going to start getting injured, you're going to be inflamed, and your motivation is going to be completely gone. And this happened to me uh, after I turned about 37 or so. I was killing myself. I was working 60 hours a week, traveling around the country for a couple sports supplement brands, doing bodybuilding shows, fitness expos, you name it. Stuff that was really taxing my body. And the first thing that I noticed was that when I went into the gym, I didn't have the intensity that I used to have. I didn't have that drive. That was the biggest thing that I should have listened to. Unfortunately, I didn't. My body continued to break down, and eventually I ended up having to have neck surgery. I've had several other small injuries, muscle pulls. I've hurt my tendons, you name it. If I had been aware of the signs and I had recognized them, then I would have been able to program a recovery into my training. And I'm confident that I wouldn't have had all those setbacks. So, what does progress look like now? Progress is not what you think it is. I used to think that destroying my body was progress. And the more times that I could just annihilate myself in the gym, then I was going to get stronger. Progress is small victories. Progress is increasing your number of reps in a set, one or two over a month, 2 months. That's progress. Progress is, again, small victories. These small victories add up, they compound over themselves. And eventually, you're going to see massive results. It just takes time. One day at a time is the way you have to approach working out. It's the way that all professional athletes approach training. And if you don't do that, and you don't respect the day and respect the recovery, you're going to pay for it later on. So now my training is different. If I feel like the stress from life is getting to me, or let's say, I'm moving and I'm lifting boxes and moving furniture for 10, 12 hours, whatever it is, I know that my training is going to have to be adjusted. The biggest thing that I do is most of the times I won't even go to the gym and I don't lose any progress. I actually come back stronger in the next week or so. If your outside life is putting enormous amounts of stress on your body, then you need to take time away from the gym. If you are stressed out, your body is not going to have the energy needed to continue to make progress with your workouts. It's not. It's just not possible. Your body's primary goal is to stay alive. It doesn't care if you can bench press 225 pounds for 10 reps. It just wants to make sure that you wake up and go to sleep and your heart is beating every single day. That's it. So when I started incorporating this new, I guess, realization that recovery was necessary, then my training definitely started to get better. My progress started to get better. You know, if I can't do a certain weight for, say, 10 or 12 reps, then the next time I'm in the gym, I'm going to keep with that same weight. And if I notice that I still am stalling out, then it's time for a break. It's time for me to just either change up the exercise that puts less stress on a specific joint, or do something with the rep speed, maybe slow it down so that I can't use as much weight. And if it's bad enough, I just take complete time off. Now, one thing that I have to throw caution towards is this: no matter how many supplements you take, you are not going to overcome a recovery debt. It's not possible. If you're not getting enough sleep, you don't have the proper nutrition, it doesn't matter what supplements you take, they're not going to make a difference. Recovery is the number one supplement. Now, as I continue to get older, I've noticed that sometimes I have to take even more recovery days off, and that's fine. The number way that I know that I'm recovered is my motivation to work out. If I'm lacking motivation, it means that I need to do something different and I need to take time off from the gym. And if you are so wrecked from your workouts that you can't go and play with your kids, if you can't concentrate when you're at work, then something's wrong. Your workouts should supplement and enhance your life. They shouldn't take away from it. If they're taking away from it, then you need to take time off and adjust what you are doing. Now, my goal is to be lifting weights for my whole entire life. I love running, I love jumping, I love being able to just be athletic. For me, being athletic is more important than how many times I can bench press 225 pounds. When I was young, that wasn't the case. When I was young, it was only about how much weight I could put up. And ultimately, that cost me. That cost me a lot of injuries, and it definitely cost me uh, a lot of, or affected how much, you know, I was able to do the stuff that I enjoyed. Lifting weights is a journey. It's not a quick sprint. It's something that you want to continue doing and make progress for not years, but decades. And that's the key. If you are at a place in life where you feel like this type of information resonates with you, if you're tired all the time, if you don't have the motivation to go work out, if life is too stressful, or if you're just punishing your body and you realize you're doing too much, then definitely stick around because I'm going to cover all of these topics, and I'm going to give you some insight into what has actually helped me the most, because I've been lifting for over 30 years now, and I want to continue to lift for 30 plus more years. And I know that if I don't start paying attention to the signs that my body is giving me, then I'm not going to be able to do that. So if you're constantly injured, if you're constantly sore, if you're constantly tired, then you need to re-examine your training philosophy. You can still train as hard as you want, and you can still train with intensity. I'm not saying you don't do that. I go all out when I'm in the gym. I absolutely concentrate on every single rep, not the set, but every rep. I strive for perfection and intensity with every rep. The difference now is that if I don't have that drive, then I know that I need to spend more time recovering. I need to take time off from the gym.